Hello everyone, I'm Serena Fazan of the Serena Fazan Network, brought to you by Red House Streaming. We are committed to helping those impacted by Hurricane Ian. You can see the unprecedented damage caused after Ian made landfall just short of a Category 5 storm. So many lost their lives. Thousands are without homes as a massive recovery mission is underway. We are teaming up with the Red Cross. Please join us in this rebuilding effort. It's as simple as scanning the QR code or following the link below. Stay safe.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Serena Fazan and welcome to this episode of On the Record. You know, we take such pride on this show to highlight positive influences in our community, and one of those influences right here in the Tampa Bay area, Lamplighters. And once again, I use highlight, and I'm so excited to highlight your mission. Joining me in the studio today, Amy Hall, Lamplighters current Vice President, and Debbie Trujillo. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, yay! Previous Lamplighters President. Yeah. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Thank you for having us. Oh, 100%. So Debbie, let's start with you. Can you tell us about Lamplighters and what Lamplighters is about? You guys have been around for 35 years.
We have. Actually, this is the start of our 36th year. And so we were starting back in 1986 to help Metropolitan Ministries serving homeless, families and children. And since then, we have grown to an organization of about 200 women. Our mission is still to help underprivileged children. So we raise money for Metropolitan Ministries and their homeless children, and then Joshua House and their foster kids. So we do that not only through events and fundraising, but we actually meet with the kids and read to them. We have a homeroom mom program, teaching kids to cook. We have parties for them. So we get engaged with them on an eye-to-eye level, in addition to having really nice events and raising money for them.
Well, so now, Amy, let me turn to you, because we're so blessed by this, right? So we have actually viewers now all over the world.
Right.
Explain a little bit about Joshua House and Metropolitan Ministries. What are those?
Sure.
What are those organizations for people who may not know?
Sure. Metropolitan Ministries has been in existence in Tampa for 50 years, and it is a very complex machine in that it's got many components. The component that we focus mostly upon is the children in residency. And those children are basically victims of circumstance. They haven't chosen the fact that they are at risk of being homeless or they are homeless, but usually end up in residency on the campus, generally with moms, generally not with moms and dads. Every once in a while that occurs. And basically what has happened is their moms have not been able to find any type of familial support with daycare, after school care. They may not have an education or a trade, and they've left really violent situations. So what they end up doing is applying for and living on the campus of Metropolitan Ministries. They pledge to live a drug-free lifestyle. They work with a social worker to make sure that they are developing a trade or finishing their education. And then their children are cared for, whether it's full-time during the day in one of the partner schools surrounding the campus, during daycare on campus if they're not of school age, and then even for the school-age children aftercare programs. Currently, there are about 300 children in residency at Metropolitan Ministries being served between two campuses, one in downtown Tampa and one in Pasco County.
Wow, and I know with Joshua House, because when I was in traditional news, we did many stories, and Dottie Berger McKinnon, may she rest in peace, one of my most cherished women I've ever met. I know she really worked hard to keep kids together, siblings together. So with Lamplighters, you mentioned 200 women, and what's so interesting is the age range, if you want to talk about that.
Yes, we have members from age 27 to 85. And so we have young moms, we have, women that have never been moms, and then we have, some people like us that are empty nesters. I mean, it's such a great group because it's a place where people find friendship, because we're all like-minded. You know, we want to help others. And so I think the friendships deepen because of that. And so you ask other friends, and it just continues to grow. You know, it's definitely the ripple effect.
And Amy, you were also saying too, so what's unique also about the organization is, right, that it's all volunteer based, which means the money, for the most part, stays within the nonprofit. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely, yes. Other than what's required by our CPAs at the end of the year, with a small carryover to make us solvent, we distribute pretty much 100% of what we generate through fundraising during the year between Metropolitan Ministries and Joshua House. So, and those monies have been put into amazing programs. We have a LAMPLighters Learning Lab on the campus of both Metropolitan Ministries and Joshua House. And what that affords are those wonderful electronics and other things, laptops and learning tools that children who have been in homeless situations or abused, abandoned, and neglected in the foster system don't own like a lot of our children do. So, because their parents can't afford it.
Right, because so many times, you know, we think about that, we take it for granted. It's just part of our lifestyle right now, but we have to remember there could be, especially, you know, children that are unfortunate.
And you know, one other thing that Amy didn't mention, but she was very instrumental in, is that last year we gave Metropolitan Ministries $50,000 in seed money to start a lamplighter learning lab in the Pasco campus.
Wonderful.
And so then this year, our current president, Tina Dumar, will make another $50,000 commitment, and then Amy next year, as our president, will do the final 50. So then we'll have 3 learning labs, all helping kids that, you know, would not have books or laptops or tutors, anything, you know, without it. So,
you know, yes, it's so exciting. It's so exciting, and I love this. You know, I love this show so much because we talk about incredible people like yourselves and their inspiring stories, and I can always tell because I get goosebumps. I get so excited about it. So the show is also unedited, unscripted. So how did you guys come up with Lamplighters? How did that name come up?
It stands for Ladies Assisting Metropolitan Persons Who Bring Light to Children's Lives. And that was created by the small faction of South Tampa women who decided that they were going to get together and have a barbecue on a street corner, I believe was the original story, with fundraising to help support children in need.
And that's how the name came to be?
That is what Lamplighter stands for.
Wow. Okay, so, and then when you were talking about the 200 women that are part of the organization and all the age ranges, how do they learn? How do they, of course, you know, I know word of mouth and things spread, and I want to talk about the major events you guys are having, but I would imagine there might even be some mother and daughter teams, or is it generational? Can you share some of that?
we've had, I think, 2 or 3 generational,
Yes.
from grandmother, you know, mother, and then the daughter. So yeah, it's very organic how it's grown, because we really don't do a lot of publicity. And, you know, this is obviously our first TV show.
This is so exciting. On the record. Yay!
But, you know, a lot of people come to our events and they just fall in love with the mission and the event, and then they'll join, or else they'll, you know, bring friends, you know, daughter-in-laws, sister-in-laws, whatever. So yeah, and it's grown from being South Tampa to definitely North Tampa, over into Pinellas. I mean, we've really grown a lot. Pasco now. So yeah, it's just a great group, and so it just naturally grows. You know, when you're doing something good, people catch that passion, and you know, they just want to be part of it. So.
What were you going to say, Amy? You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, we all have a common love for children, and especially for children in need, who don't have the same opportunities that many of our children and now grandchildren have, for some of us, like Debbie and I.
Yes, and I want to go more into that on the second half of the show, the personal missions that got you involved with Lamplighters, but please continue.
Yeah, I just think, you know, like I said, we have a common passion for children, helping children and those in need, and we are a great organization in that we have such diversity. Race, religion, sexual orientation, with children, without children.
That's
you know,
so wonderful to hear.
And so socioeconomically diverse, because we have, you know, many wealthier members, but then we have members that really can't give, so we don't have a hard ask of our membership. We have a very trim membership fee annually. We do have it at different tiers of levels. We call them mission membership levels. And and that's a very complex thing to explain on the show,
Yes,
so I won't
yes.
go into that. But so we offer a little bit for everybody, and everyone can give as much or as little as they want to, whether it's time, money, or both.
And speaking of that, there are 3 major events you do every year.
Correct.
I am so honored to be emceeing one of them coming up.
We are thrilled
I
you are
know,
emceeing.
thank you. No, thank you. You know, people have been sending me the what you have sent out, and I'm very moved and touched by that. But if you could talk about the events
Sure.
that really help your organization.
Well, it's so exciting because it's only a few weeks away. As you know, October 26th is our first event, Fall into Fashion, that we've been doing for, gosh, probably 25 or 30 years now.
Wow.
And so, no, but we have taken a little hiatus these past 2 years and made it an outdoor event due to COVID.
Due to COVID.
But this year it's back to being a nice formal event in a ballroom and that. And so Amy's been working really hard on that. And you're going to be so great.
No, you
I'm
guys are so
excited.
sweet. I'm very excited.
And there's still time to buy tickets. And, you know, it's going to be both a sit-down lunch, a great fashion show, and the beauty is afterward you can still buy fashion from Dillard's, and 10% goes back to Lamplighters.
Which is wonderful. And I want to
So
give a
generous.
shout out to Dillard's. I mean, their new general manager, honestly, she is so dedicated to this community, and their entire team is always giving back. I've emceed several events now where they are, you know, where they provide the fashion. And so that's the lunch, and you have 2 more big events.
Yes.
We do. We have our annual Silver Coffee, or Christmas Coffee, which is held early in December. And every year is held at a beautiful home that is donated by a member of our community.
We have to stop there because, oh my, I mean, so oftentimes people don't realize, right, they could offer something like that. I mean, when you, how amazing that someone would give their home.
Correct.
And it must be so intimate. It must be a beauty. I'm very excited because, can we put on the record you invited me this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is
December
being,
9th.
yes,
Exactly.
it is being held on Friday, December 9th at a beautiful home up in Avila. And pretty much the only requirement is that the person who's offering up their home, they really need to have it nicely decorated for Christmas and the holidays.
Wonderful.
But we do ask all of our membership to provide volunteer service at the event. With serving, everyone is bringing different types of finger foods on silver platters. It's very elegant. We oftentimes have the children at Metropolitan Ministries come and sing Christmas carols.
Oh,
That has not been able to happen the past 2 years because of COVID, but hopefully this year that will change. So it is a very historic tradition with Lamplighters, dating back, I believe, to the original couple of years. So really beautiful, beautiful event.
that's wonderful. And then you have an event in April.
We do. Lamplighters Fund Hope. This year's theme will be called Light Up the Night, and it's being held in April at the Glacier Center down on Howard in Tampa. We have the band No Filter booked for that evening, which is a very energetic, amazing band. And I am always about the D in fundraising because that is the biggest one for us of the year, and I'm not shy in asking. So we are always looking for sponsors for that event, as well as incredible chance drawing items and silent auction items.
Well, you know, I was saying before we go to the break, you know, we have such a generous CEO, Court Heitman, that, you know, we're doing a behind the scenes tour for the Alpha House. So when you were talking about April, I'm like, do I need to talk to
Great
Court
idea.
about another auction item, which would be so great, where we invite people in to, you know, watch the show and do a behind the scenes. But that would be really fun.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, no pressure, anybody, no pressure. Well, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we have to talk about the 2 of you, the women behind this mission, right? Amazing leaders right in our community. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Spring break. If it hasn't happened, it will happen. Here at Precision, I get the question of, can you fix this same day? All the time. Nobody wants to wait a few days to get their garage door fixed. The face that they make every time I say I can fix this right now is priceless. No, I'm not an actor. Would I be a good actor?
Well, I could probably do it.
I mean, this face is made for the camera.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Oh man, I'm gonna regret that.
We're talking about Precision Garage Door. Thank you so much to the Precision Garage Door team for sponsoring the show. And that's where Amy and I first met.
Exactly.
You were in a commercial for them.
Exactly.
For the event at Metropolitan Ministries.
Yes, in the holiday tent at Metropolitan Ministries. I serve as a volunteer leader in the donor care lane, and Serena and the Precision Door team came in to do their huge annual toy donation and drop off. I believe you were dressed as an elf, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was.
And I was in holiday garb as well, and a match was made in heaven.
Yes, and you were fantastic. You were fantastic, but both of you are incredible leaders. And so humility aside, let's start. How did you get involved, Debbie, in the first place? And tell us your personal story, because you said you're a grandmother. Is that what you said?
Yes, I
You're
am
a
now.
grandmother?
I am now.
Girls,
yes.
you look. And what did the girls say when you guys walked in? Oh my gosh, both of you look so beautiful.
Aw.
More important to be beautiful on the inside. But
Yes, yes.
Okay, so yes, tell us a little bit about you.
You know, I started out going to Lamplighter events just as a participant, and I was always in awe by the beauty of the homes and how welcoming the women were. And so when I found that I had a little more time, because I sell real estate, which is very time consuming, of course, with kids and all that, I didn't have a lot of free time. But once my youngest went off to college, I'm like, you know, I want to get more involved. So I had a good friend that was the president at the time, so I went to a meeting, and literally at the very first meeting I went to, somebody said that they needed a co-chair for the Christmas Silver Coffee, and next thing I know, I was co-chair. So literally I was on Lamplighter for like 10 minutes before I had responsibility. But that was the best thing, because I met so many people, and then, you know, when you're on the board, you get into the nitty-gritty of, you know, where our money really goes and how it helps people. And I remember one of the first stories I heard is how the money that we had donated the year prior for the summer camp went to help the kids to go to the zoo. Now, I mean, I've been taking my kids to the zoo since they were born, and here this little girl wrote us a little letter saying that she wanted to be a veterinarian. She was 9 years old, 9 or 10, and she had never been to the zoo before.
Isn't that something?
And we facilitated that. And I mean, it's stories like that, and of course, you know, other sad ones that I won't repeat, that make you realize, like, there's such a need right in our backyard. I mean, our kids are very privileged, but literally right in our backyard, there's so much need, and I, you know, had the time and passion to get involved and help, and it was really one of the best decisions I've made. And so since that time, I've kind of risen through the ranks and felt my way around the organization, and served as their president last year. So it was a great honor, and it was just, I made so many wonderful friends, and it was really one of the most fulfilling years of my life.
I love what you said, that it was one of the best decisions you made, that it's priceless. And I want to get back more to your background, though. But Amy, so tell us a little bit about your personal side, though.
I am not short on words, so I am going to try to make this as concise as I can.
No, we always say we like the New York Times version opposed to the Reader's Digest, but I know it's only half our show. I know the crew's like, no, we only have, you know, a little bit of time.
My husband and I, many years ago, decided that we wanted to give back to the community during the holidays. And so we started a little family tradition. It started with both of our daughters, but they have a 9-year age gap between the two of them. So it really was a little bit more with the younger one. The older one was kind of going off to college, starting her own thing. And so every year at Thanksgiving and Christmas, we would go down to that holiday tent, fill my husband's Suburban to the gills with turkeys and toys, make several trips, and then we would take our younger daughter to Chili's, one of her favorite places, afterwards, and sit down and have lunch and talk about what we did for other children who were in need in the community.
That's so wonderful.
And it was a beautiful tradition, and it went all the way through middle school into high school, and when she went off to college, she would actually call and ask, are we going to do that turkey thing again when I come home during break? So tithing really resonated with her, the art of philanthropy. It was, we were teaching her a good thing in our eyes. My husband and I also got very involved in Metropolitan Ministries years ago. We went to take a tour of the campus and see the residences that were being built for these young women and children that were coming in that needed help. And we immediately, after the tour, got on board and said, we want to help. We started soliciting friends for other contributions to their capital campaign. My husband ultimately ended up on the board of Metropolitan Ministries, and several people that I knew at MetMin were trying to get me to join Lamplighters, knowing that I was involved in some other charitable work in Tampa Bay. And I finally went to the Christmas Silver Coffee about 5.5 years ago. And I walked in for my first ever Lamplighter event, and I walked out a member.
Wow, you said what a gift. I can imagine. So you were just taken
Couldn't
in
help it.
by all that.
And then I just started getting involved. I was being asked to serve in different capacities, and I initially kind of just dipped my toe in and said, no, just let me be a member for a little while, let me figure it out. And progressively, I've gotten more involved, and obviously was asked this past year by our current president, Tina, to, I would say, serve as her running mate as VP this year. So I went through a lot of soul searching, but decided that it was the right move for me. And like Debbie said, I think it's going to be one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's a little scary at the beginning of the VP year.
Congratulations, though. No, I think it's wonderful. And you know what is so interesting, too, is that you guys have term limits. That you can only be a president for a year, right?
That's it, 1 year.
Okay, why is that? Why is that? To give everybody an opportunity to have that chance?
Really, because it takes a lot of energy, and really, there are so many great women. If we didn't do that, it might be monopolized, you know what I mean? So instead, we have fresh blood every year on our board, and the energy level is always high. The enthusiasm's high, new ideas.
Yes.
Every president brings something completely different to the table, how they run, you know, the club and the fundraisers, everything. I mean, it's really great to have that change, because we get better every year because of it.
I think, I mean, we have these time-honored traditions for sure in the 3 big events, but there's so much creativity and breadth within the organization that it would almost be a disservice to the organization and the children that we serve to keep constant at the helm, so to speak.
I think it's a wonderful motto, and when you were talking about fresh and new ideas, because when there is change, there is something new, and it's such a wonderful cause. You know, you're helping children in need. So again, humility aside, you both are also very professionally accomplished. Though, you know, brag a little, share, come on.
Well, gosh, you know, I'm a Michigan transplant, so I was in the ad agency business for years up there, and when I came down here, of course, I thought real estate was the way to go. Well, I've stuck with it now for 34 years. I've been a realtor. So that has kept me super busy. And along the way, I got my master's degree from USF because, you know, I had to do something locally here. And it's been just wonderful. This is where I met my husband and had my kids. And it's just been a really great life. I've been very blessed. And, you know, I think I mentioned to you, breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
This month, 18 years.
Yes, congratulations
So,
on that too. Thank
thank
goodness.
you.
You know, and you have 3 beautiful kids, married, and 2
do.
grandkids. But 18
6
years.
grandkids,
Oh, 6
actually.
Six grandkids.
Yes.
You have 2.
I have 2.
You have 2.
Yes,
6
2.
grandkids. Congratulations in
Yes.
18 years.
18 years, definitely by the grace of God. So I want to encourage everybody to do their self-exams, because I found my lump only 6 weeks after a completely clear mammogram. So if I had waited my year for the next mammogram, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you today. So self-exams are super important, and Moffitt took great care of me, and I'm just, you know, very blessed to still be here, happy and healthy.
Gosh, yeah, no, thank goodness. And you know, with after the 6 weeks, and you said you felt it
Yes.
through your through a self-exam.
Absolutely.
It's so important. Linda Hurtado, who works at Channel 13, who's really one of my mentors. We worked together at a local station prior to that. She also, you know, went through breast cancer and talks about all the time. You know, not to digress, folks, but it's very, 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 very important.
Yeah, puts your
it's very
life in
important.
perspective,
it does.
for sure.
Because if you don't have your life, you know, I mean, that's the most priceless thing.
Absolutely.
So, Amy, what about, you know, professionally, your background?
I have an interesting background.
Yes, you do.
Undergraduate degrees in biochemistry and psychology, pre-med. Then I went the business route in healthcare, have a master's in healthcare finance and management and administration. I was a corporate road warrior in the healthcare consulting arena for many years with Arthur Andersen. I started my own firm years after that. And then in 2006, I actually retired from that and have kind of converted some of those consulting skills into fundraising skills for the charities I'm involved with. So It's been an interesting ride, a very rewarding ride. I actually get more satisfaction out of using those skills in charity fundraising than I did, I think, in my corporate life. But yeah, so, and I have two, my grandchildren, I have those two daughters of ours. They're my beautiful daughters by marriage to my husband, but we've been around for a very long time. And I did meet my husband here as well. And yeah, it's been
That's so wonderful. I mean, seriously, everything that you both do for the community. So if for other young women out there, what would your message of encouragement be to them?
Well, you know, I really think that Lamplighters provides a good avenue for people, like Amy said, of any socioeconomic background to get involved for like $125 for the year. And it's just a great introduction to what you can do in the community, wonderful women to meet. And I don't know, for me, it's a really good balance of education as to what the community, you know, needs are, fun, and just girlfriendhood. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a very welcoming organization. Nobody walks through the door of any event or meeting without having somebody welcome them and come and sit with me. I mean, there aren't the cliques in that you know, a lot of women are afraid of when they get involved with women's organizations. Ours is just so welcoming and warm that I think that women of any age would really get a lot out of Lamplighters for sure.
And you think about it, it's $12 a month, so that's cents a day. I mean, that's just like a few cents, you know, like, you know, every day.
Right.
And so, Amy, what would your words of inspiration be to women, you know, or to young girls out there in following their dream?
I think, you know, dig deep in your heart and your soul and find your passion. And your passion doesn't have to be just strictly for your family or strictly for your career or even a combo of the two. I like to think I have great passion for my family and for this organization and the other organizations I do work for. I had great passion for my career. I have no regrets doing what I did when I did it, but I have found more reward at this stage of my life. So, you know, I just think I encourage a lot of young women to seek us out, come to lamplighterstampa.org and check us out.
Yeah, that was my next question. Honestly, I was going to say, okay, so how do we find you? What is the best way to find you?
Yeah, that is the best way. Lamplighterstampa.org is an amazing website. We have a longtime past president volunteer who manages it for us. You actually know her. Her
Actually,
name's
Nancy Leach, who was on the record. Yes, she was on the show.
And we constantly update it with new information, events. You can RSVP to any of our events. If you're not a member, we have pricing for those events as well. If you're interested in becoming a member, please reach out. There's a phone number also listed on that, as well as emails for all of our executive board. And it's just we're just a very welcoming bunch of ladies. I've not met a lamplighter yet in 5 years that I don't care for.
Well, I would say too, you're not only members, you are mentors, right? You definitely are mentors. What an honor and privilege to have you both on the show. And we've got to give a shout out to Nancy Leach because, you know, she was on the show and we love spreading it organically.
Absolutely.
So if you are watching or you know somebody and you'd like to be on the show, please email us. We do love stories, business stories, professional stories, production at redhousestreaming.com. We're on every social media platform you can imagine, and we have major announcements coming this month.
I have a last plug. Can I say
Yes,
it?
of course. I love it. Yes.
And if you'd like to come to our fashion show on October 6th at the Renaissance International Plaza in Tampa and see Serena
Oh, you're so sweet. The 26th, right? The 26th.
Rather.
Yes.
Of course. I have that embedded in my brain.
Of course. I mean, I mean, I'm sure you're waking up with that number. Oh.
It's $100 a ticket online, and you could just go online today and register for that.
Thank you. Absolutely. And
So we'll see you there.
Yes, I'm very excited. Thank you again so much, everybody. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate it. Stay safe until next week.
Thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Serena Fazan of the Serena Fazan Network, brought to you by Red House Streaming. We are committed to helping those impacted by Hurricane Ian. You can see the unprecedented damage caused after Ian made landfall just short of a Category 5 storm. So many lost their lives. Thousands are without homes as a massive recovery mission is underway. We are teaming up with the Red Cross. Please join us in this rebuilding effort. It's as simple as scanning the QR code or following the link below. Stay safe.